Hello students, welcome to Well Explained. Today I'm here with class 9 biology chapter tissues and the subtopic is animal tissues. Now animal tissue is basically of four types: epithelial tissue or the covering tissue, connective tissue or the supportive tissue, muscular tissue or the muscle tissues, and the nervous tissue. If you see to the tabular form animal tissue, it is divided into four types: epithelial, connective, muscular and nervous. This epithelial tissue is further subdivided into squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium and glandular epithelium. In the same way, connective tissue is divided into areolar, adipose, skeletal and fluid connective tissue. Areolar connective tissue is further subdivided into tendons and ligaments, and the skeletal tissue is divided into bone and cartilage, and the fluid connective tissue is divided into blood and lymph. The next type of connective tissue is muscular tissue, which is divided into striated muscular tissue, unstriated or smooth muscular tissue and cardiac muscle tissue, and the last one is the nervous tissue. So in this session we are going to study in detail about the animal tissues. Now first one is the epithelial tissue. What are the characteristics of the epithelial tissue? It is the simplest protective tissue found all over the animal's body as cover, like epidermis in plant's body. As the outermost covering in a plant's body is epidermis, in the same way, epithelial tissue is the protective tissue found all over the animal's body. Second characteristic is that it also lines the inside of all the cavities like mouth, throat, stomach, intestine, windpipe, lungs and blood vessels. Third, it is continuously tightly packed like sheet. It is a continuous tightly packed like sheet with little cementing material and almost no intercellular space. Means intercellular space is absent in this epithelial tissue. The cells are back to back arranged. Now anything entering or leaving the body must cover at least one layer of epithelium. At least one layer of this epithelial tissue is present all over the body of an animal. The epithelial cells are attached to a delicate non-cellular basement membrane. This epithelial tissue means these cells, they are attached to a delicate non-cellular basement membrane. Now, this epithelial tissue is of two types. If it consists of a single layer of cells, it is known as simple epithelial tissue, and if it consists of various layers of cells, then it is known as compound or stratified epithelial tissue. Okay, the difference you are understanding? If the single layer of cells is there, so it is known as simple epithelial tissue, and if it consists of various layers of cells, it is known as stratified epithelial tissue. So what are the functions of the epithelial tissue? As we know, it forms the outer layer of skin and it protects the underlying cells from any injury or microorganism, infection or chemical effect. Okay, so main function is protective. Its main function is protective. It also protects the cavities by lining or by coating them. What are the cavities? Means the cavities which are present inside our body or the body of an animal. It also helps in the absorption of water and nutrients. It helps to eliminate the waste products. And sometimes this epithelial tissue performs the function of secretion. Secretion means it secretes various things like blood, saliva, enzymes, sweat, etc. Now the types of epithelial tissue. The first type of epithelial tissue is squamous epithelial tissue. This type of epithelium, it exists in both forms. It can be simple as well as stratified. If it is simple epithelial squamous cells, so they are extremely thin, smooth and irregular shaped, but fits like a floor tile, as you can see in this figure. In this diagram, you can see they are arranged, they are irregular shape, but they are arranged or they are fitted like a floor tile, forming a fragile lining. It is found, now where it is found? It is found in the lining cavities of mouth, nose, pericardium, esophagus, tongue, blood vessels and skin. And what is its function? It protects the organs where it is found from mechanical injury, germ, chemicals and also from drying. So you can see in this diagram, the cells are irregular in shape. They have nucleus also and they are arranged in such a way they are fitted so that they look like a floor tile. Now stratified squamous epithelial tissue. As we have studied earlier, stratified means it contains many layers. In this, many layers of simple squamous epithelium is found in stratified form. It is found mainly in skin. You can see it helps the skin to avoid wear and tear. It is waterproof and highly resistant to mechanical injury due to presence of keratin. You can see in this many layers are present. Okay. Now next is columnar epithelial tissue. You can see the column-like structure in this figure. These are column-like structures, these pillar-like structures. So they are taller and broader pillar-like cells with the nucleus at its base. You can see the nucleus found at its base. These are the nucleus which are found at the base of these column or pillar-like cells. Sometimes there are microvilli as brush borders. Now where they are formed? They form the lining of the intestine, colon and stomach by forming mucous membrane. It is also found in gallbladder and oviducts. Now what is the function of the columnar epithelium? Its main function is absorption and secretion in intestine, stomach and colon as mucous membrane. Now the next type of epithelial tissue is cuboidal epithelial tissue. As the name is suggesting, the cells in this are cube-like, but their free surface they appear as hexagonal. As you can see in this, they are looking like cube-like, but the free end it look like a hexagon. Where they are found? They are found in kidney tubules, thyroid vesicles, pancreas, testes, ovaries, salivary glands and sweat glands. And what is the function of cuboidal epithelial tissue? They help in absorption, excretion and secretion. They also provides mechanical support. Now next in the series is glandular epithelial tissue. As you can see, the name is suggesting its function is of just like of glands. They are columnar epithelial tissue, but they are modified to form oil glands, sweat glands and salivary glands. You can see this glandular epithelium tissue. It looks like a gland and its functions are these covers the exocrine and endocrine glands. They secrete their products into the extracellular space. Clear to all of you? Now next is ciliated epithelial tissue. Ciliated epithelial tissue means cilia-like structures, means thread hair-like structures are present in this epithelial tissue. They are cuboidal and columnar epithelial cells with thread-like cytoplasmic outgrowths which are called as cilia. You can see in this figure, these are the cilia. What are these? These are cilia. This is the cytoplasm. And this is nucleus. What is it? It is nucleus. Okay. My writing is not good, but don't go on that. You must have understood. They are now where these are found. They are found in sperm ducts, oviduct, fallopian tube, trachea, bronchi, kidney tubules, etc. And what is their function? That they help the particles to move in one direction because cilia have a rhythmic movement, and this movement of cilia moves the particles in one direction. Now next animal tissue is connective tissue. As the name says, connective tissue is a specialized tissue that connects bones to each other. That means bones to bones, connects bones to muscles, and it also binds the cells of other tissues in the body. Now, what are the characteristics of connective tissue? There are gel-like homogeneous intercellular substances called as medium or matrix, which forms the main bulk of the connective tissue. Means in this connective tissue, as it is connecting, so for sake of connectivity, the main bulk is the matrix or medium, which is gel-like homogeneous substance. Okay. Now, this tissue is made up of living cells which are loosely packed and low in number. The living cells are embedded in a non-living intracellular matrix, and the matrix is solid in bones because bones are solids. So it is solid in bones and cartilage, but this matrix is fluid in blood. Now, what are the functions of connective tissue? The main function of connective tissue are binding, supporting and packing together the different organs of body. Now, this connective tissue is also classified into three types based on the types of matrix in which it is present. These are proper connective tissue, supportive connective tissue and fluid connective tissue. So, coming to proper connective tissue. These are fibers and matrix in proper connective tissue. Means in the proper connective tissue, it is composed of fibers and matrix. They are further classified into three: areolar, adipose and fibrous connective tissue. Now, areolar connective tissue. It consists of irregular cells with two types of fibers: white fibers which are made up of collagen and yellow fibers made up of elastin. This collagen and elastin are the proteins, and these fibers are embedded in the matrix crossing each other. Now, where this areolar connective tissue is found, they are found in the bone marrow, skin and muscle cells, around the blood vessels and nerves. In fact, they are widely distributed in the body as it is a connective tissue. So, almost it is present in all parts of the body. Now, its main function is to bind the skin with the underlying parts. You can see in this diagram of areolar connective tissue, the collagen fibers are there, matrix is there in which the fibers are, they are crossed collagen fibers, mast cells are also present. Now the next is adipose connective tissue. It also consists of cells with the same white and yellow fibers as in the case of areolar connective tissue. But here is one modification, and that is the cells are modified to store fat. That is, the cells of this tissue are filled with fat globules and they are also called as adipocytes. Where this tissue is formed, they are found below the skin and around the internal organs. This can also be seen in hump of camels and the blubber of whales. The hump of camels and the blubber of whales, and blubber is also found in many Arctic animals. So this is also made up of adipose connective tissue. Now what is the function of this adipose connective tissue? They act as filling tissue and store fats. They also keep the body warm and they act as insulators. Now next connective tissue is fibrous connective tissue. They are made up of elongated fibers bundled with the areolar tissue. These are of two types, tendons and ligaments. You have heard of these two terms, tendons and ligaments, in your previous classes also. What are tendons? They are made up of tough, non-elastic white fibers. They connect muscles to bones. And what are ligaments? They are made up of strong, elastic yellow fibers as well as white fibers. Means in tendons only white fibers are there, but in ligaments white as well as yellow fibers are there and they connect bone to bone. You can see in this figure. Now next is supportive connective tissue. They are also called as skeletal tissues. These type of tissues have rigid matrix. They form the internal framework of vertebrae, and based on rigidity they are further classified into cartilage and bones. Means supportive connective tissue is further classified into cartilage and bones. As you can see from this figure, this is bone, the structure of bone that you don't have to do in detail in 9th class, and this is cartilage. Now cartilage. They are non-porous tissues in which the cells called chondroblasts are embedded in matrix with a space filled with liquid called lacunae. Where are they found? They are found in many areas of the body, including joints between the bones, that is elbow, knee, ankles, end of the ribs, ears, nose and bronchial tube, etc. These are the few areas where we can find these cartilage. And what is the function of cartilage? They provide support and flexibility in the vertebrae. Now the second supportive tissue is bone. They have strong, rigid, porous cells and their cells are known as osteocytes. The cells of the cartilage are known as chondroblasts, whereas the cells of the bones are known as osteocytes, and they are also known as bone cells, which are present in concentric rings called lamella with space filled with fluid called as lacunae. The matrix of the bones is filled with carbonates and phosphates of calcium and magnesium. What is the function of bones? There are so many functions of bones. They protect the internal organs like brain, lungs, heart, etc. You all might be knowing brain is protected by the skull. It is protected by the skull, and this skull is the framework of bone. Lungs are protected by the ribs. Okay, and heart is also protected by the ribs. That is the rib cage. They give a frame to the body, they give skeletal support and they help in locomotion. They anchor the muscles and are storage site for calcium and phosphates. So these are the functions of bone. Now next is the fluid connective tissue. These are the mobile connective tissue. Fluid means which can flow. So that is why they are known as the mobile connective tissue. Mobile connective tissue in which the living cells are suspended freely. It is further classified into blood and lymph. Now coming to blood, you all have studied blood in your previous classes. It is an opaque, reddish and sticky. It is an opaque, reddish and sticky connective tissue that circulates in the body. It consists of plasma and blood cells or corpuscles. Plasma is pale, straw-colored liquid that forms 55% of the total volume of the blood. It contains proteins like albumin to control osmotic pressure, globulin to act as antibodies, fibrinogen for clotting of blood, glucose, amino acids, fats, lipids, vitamins, enzymes, then hormones and waste like urea and uric acid. Means this plasma, these things they are present in plasma. Blood cells are of three types: RBCs, WBCs, and blood platelets. You can see RBC. These are RBC. These are the platelets, and all these they constitutes the WBC. These are the cells which are present in the WBC. Now functions. What are the functions of blood? They act as transport system. Means they help in the transport of the materials such as food, oxygen, carbon dioxide, hormones, and waste products. You must have studied in your class 7th all these functions of blood. It also regulates the body temperature. It prevents from diseases and infections, and it helps in clotting and healing of wound. Now coming to lymph. It is a straw-colored fluid that flows in lymph vessels, and it is similar in composition. Means इसका और blood का composition बिल्कुल same है. Only the difference is of RBCs. Means they lack RBCs. That is why they are straw-colored. Blood is red in color. About 94% of the lymph is water, and rest contains proteins, fats, hormones, salts, and nitrogenous waste. Now, what are the functions? It helps in the transport of nutrients between the blood cells. It provides digested fats to the tissues, thus participates in nutritive process. It forms a defense system of the body by protecting against infection. As lymph consists of lymphocytes, they help in protection against the infection. Now next tissue is muscular tissue. This is also known as muscle tissue or muscle fiber. Muscle cells are elongated, tall and contractile. They are present in the form of sheath or bundles, and they show contractibility, means they can contract and relax. So these are the characteristics of muscular tissue. The movement of body parts and locomotion is the main function of this tissue. For the function of muscular tissue, you can write it helps in the movement of body parts and locomotion. Now, on the basis of the location and structure, muscular tissue is classified into striated muscles, unstriated muscles, and cardiac muscles. Now, coming to the striated muscles. They are long, as you can see, they are long and they are cylindrical. They are unbranched and non-tapering. They are multinucleated, as you can see. The nucleus, many nucleus are present. They are attached to bones, therefore they are known as skeletal muscles. Striated muscles are also known as skeletal muscles. Why? Because they are attached to the bones. These muscles have light and dark bands. That is why they are known as striated or striped muscles. They are found, where are they found? They are found in hands, legs, fingers, and almost all the external organs of our body, almost all. Now, what are the functions of striated muscles? They help in body movement, and their movement can be controlled by our mind or will. Will means we can make the things move on our own. That's why they are called as voluntary muscles. So what are the three names of the striated muscles? Striated muscles are also known as skeletal muscles. They are also known as voluntary muscles. Why they are known as skeletal muscles? Because they are attached to the bones and they help in the movement of the external organs. Why they are known as striated muscles? Because they have light and dark bands And why they are known as voluntary muscles? Because their movement can be controlled by our mind or will. Now coming to unstriated muscles. They are long, flat, their spindle shape means they are tapering ends are there. They are uninucleate, you can see. The nucleus is present in the center of the cell. They are found in the walls of, where are they found? They are found in the walls of stomach, intestine, blood vessels, breathing passage, reproductive and excretory organs. Almost all the internal organs, these unstriated muscles are present. They help in the movement of muscles which are not under the control of men. That is why they are also known as involuntary muscles. You can see in this diagram, this is of smooth muscle fibers. The shape is tapering shape is known as spindle shape. They are known as spindle shape. Now coming to cardiac muscles. They are branched, as you can see in the figure. They are branched. This branching is there with light and dark bands. One nucleus is present, you can see. One nucleus is present in each cell, and they show the characteristics of both the striated and unstriated muscles. As you can see, these are branched. One nucleus is present and they have light and dark bands. They all are the mixed characteristics of the striated and unstriated muscles. These muscles are involuntary. Involuntary means they do not work on our will or with our mind. They work on their own and they are found in heart. These cardiac muscles are the special type of muscles and they are present only in heart. And what is its function? They show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. Since the baby comes in the mother's womb till the end of the life, these cardiac muscles work non-stop 24 into 7. Now the next type of tissue is nervous tissue. As the name is suggesting, it is present in the nervous system. This tissue is specialized to transmit messages, receive stimuli and sensation within our body. It is found in, where it is located or where it is found. It is found in brain, spinal cord and nerves. It is composed of a nerve cell or neuron. What are the functions of nervous tissue? All the conscious activities means which we know that we are doing, they are mediated through the nerve cells. Secondly, this tissue sends and receives stimuli from the external environment to the brain and spinal cord, and in return pulses from the brain and spinal cord are sent to various organs. And third function is the nerve impulse support us when we want to respond to our muscles. So on the whole, nervous tissue is responsible for all the actions which we perform. Now neuron. Neuron is the functional unit of the nervous system. A neuron consists of a nucleus. It consists of a nucleus and cytoplasm in its cell body, from which long, thin hair-like structures emerge out. What are the three things which are present in a neuron? Number one is the cyton or the cell body. It has cytoplasm. You can see this is the cell body, cyton. It has a nucleus and cytoplasm. Then is dendrons that emerge from the cyton and further branch to form dendrites. You can see the dendrites. And third thing is the axon, which is long cylindrical process arising from the cyton. You can see the axon. This is axon. This whole is axon and it is arising from the cyton. The junction where one neuron joins another. After this, these are the dendrites. Next neuron comes and this junction is known as synapse. Okay. So this is all about animal tissues. Thanks for watching. But before going, don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that whenever I upload any video, you never miss them. Have a nice day. God bless you all.